Hello everyone, my name is Ivana Feldfeber. I am the Executive Directress of DataGénero. I work as an artificial intelligence and gender specialist in the organization, and I'm the founder of the organization too. In DataGénero, we see that there is a huge issue regarding missing data in Latin America, and we see a lot of erased people from data, people that are not relevant and that are not being counted. So we saw that there is a lot of gender data that is missing in this region, specifically gender-based violence data. So that's why we created the project AymurAI with the help of A+ Alliance and the FAIR Network. This project aims to anonymize documents, criminal court rulings to be exact, and also to extract relevant information from datasets, to create datasets, to have better understanding of gender-based violence. The AymurAI project has 4 stages. The first is to create and install this AI technology in criminal courts. The second one is to train the criminal court officials on how to use it. The third one is the data analysis and visualization. And the fourth one is to advise policymakers with the data that we have. So the AymurAI means harvest in Quechua, and that's the goal of this project, is to harvest information, to harvest data. We don't want to predict crime. We don't want to predict if someone is going to be violent with a woman, for example. We just want our AI to read documents, to detect entities in the documents, and to put it in a data set or to anonymize them. And I think that it's really a good and transparent way to use AI, and always have human validation in the middle of this. So it's important for the AI to detect this information, but also for a human, a person that is going to be checking that if that information is correct. So regarding this issue, what we're trying to tackle is the missing data on gender-based violence in Latin America. It is a huge issue. We have some data about feminicides and transfeminicides, but we don't have data on what happens before that. And for us, it's really important to have the whole picture. The judicial data is data that we can get our hands on, because we can convince criminal courts to start collecting that data, anonymize it, and publish it. So we have better statistics and ways to measure how gender-based violence works before reaching the point of feminicide or transfeminicide. Of course, we don't have the whole picture with this information, because gender-based violence also works in the shadows, and people are not willing to go to the police to make a claim or to criminal court because they are not being heard in many ways. It's kind of dangerous to them too. But the people that are going forward and saying, I'm going through a gender-based violence situation, and going to the system, that's the information we can retrieve, and we can start looking what judges are deciding regarding these cases. So for us, it's really important to have this information. So AymurAI is a tool that creates open datasets and anonymizes criminal court rulings, so we can have high quality gender-based violence data. That's our main focus. And for us, we think that using AI for this particular task is very safe and it's very straightforward. It's only for creating these semi-automated tasks and to give humans more time to do other things. I am not a big fan of the idea of humans doing these repetitive tasks only because they have to, and if we have a way to facilitate the creation of datasets, anonymization of documents with AI, I think it's a great opportunity to do that. We are working side by side with Criminal Court number 10 in the city of Buenos Aires. And then we are also implementing this tool in the Criminal Court number 14. And they are both using our tool as a pilot currently. And we are planning, with the help of the Patrick J. McGovern Foundation, to expand our tool to different countries, to different regions that are Spanish-speaking regions, of course, because our tool works in Spanish. And that's also a novelty, because there aren't many tools that are created here in Latin America and being used in Latin America in Spanish. So what we do, I have this document that is showing that it's anonymized. So we have the dates and the persons, everything is redacted with the tags, with the labels on. You can see that. And then we have the data set that is created with AymurAI 2 regarding gender-based violence specifically, but it works with all kinds of violences and all kinds of rulings too. So this is the front end that we created. We wanted to have a clean look that is going to blend in perfectly with the criminal court and not highlight the feminist app. Just a plain, simple tool that is easy and very intuitive to work with. We have everything open source in our app. We have GitHub, we have a Hugging Face for our models, so you can check everything there. Our latest release of AymurAI is available, so everyone can download it. You have to install Docker to use AymurAI, but you can test it with all the documents that you want. And regarding our challenges and considerations, we had a lot of them during these years. We had a huge issue with the data because judicial data is one of the most sensitive data in the world. So what we had to do is to create fake data with the criminal court officials. They redacted all the names and put fake names and everything in the rulings, so the labelers wouldn't have access to the real information. We fairly compensated the laborers for their work. We think this is a job that is not very well compensated usually, and we decided to pay them fairly and to have an extra to pay them because they were constantly reading about violent judicial facts. So it was really hard for them as emotionally to tag this information, so we pay them extra because we acknowledge that this is a really hard task to achieve. We labeled around 1,200 rulings, and we trained our models with that. We chose no LLMs, we chose smaller models that are less potent and also less memory consuming for the computers because all the criminal court computers are not great, are just okay, and we didn't want to collapse them. We used internal servers in the criminal courts. So we didn't use any cloud server because we don't want this information to go to any cloud. So AymurAI can be used offline. We were really conservative regarding the false negatives and positives. If AymurAI detects, sometimes detects more things to be redacted just in case, and we chose that rather to have very important information not to be detected. And then, well, the front end for criminal courts, I already talked about it a little bit. We tried to make a clean look that is going to blend in with the different tools that they use regularly. Regarding security, AymurAI can be used offline. It doesn't connect to any server or any cloud service or the internet for anything. So all the data is stored in the computers and it's not sent anywhere, and it can't be accessed remotely. So it's very secure. Also, it's open source, so everyone can see how it works and can audit the security risks if they have some. And then one big challenge is to deploy justice tech in Argentina, to build software and to maintain it. It's really expensive and it's really time consuming. And also a lot of judges don't want to be audited. They don't want to be transparent in their practices. So that is a huge challenge for us. We are knocking on doors and trying to reach as many criminal courts as possible, but we have some issues because we want this to be mainstream. But AymurAI means open justice, and a lot of criminal courts are not willing to open their rulings and their data. So that's pretty much it. You have the website aymurAI.info if you want to look at our development, our videos and everything, and I'm available if you have any questions.